Here is the GOAT, Clarence Thomas, the greatest of all time. Clarence Thomas asking these pro-abortion lawyers yesterday, arguing on behalf of their pro-abortion cause. He asks a key question. This is critical. What are we talking about here? We talk about the Second Amendment. I know what we're talking about. What are we talking about? Abortion isn't anywhere in the Constitution. Listen to the GOAT. Check him out.
I understand we're talking about abortion here, but what is confusing is that if we were talking about the Second Amendment, I know exactly what we're talking about. If we're talking about the Fourth Amendment, I know what we're talking about because it's written, it's there. What specifically is the right here that we're talking about?
Well, Justice Thomas, I think that the court in those other contexts with respect to those other amendments has had to articulate what the text means and the bounds of the constitutional guarantees. And it's done so through a variety of different tests that implement First Amendment rights, Second Amendment rights, Fourth Amendment rights. So I don't think that there is anything unprecedented or anomalous about the right that the court articulated in Roe and Casey and the way that it implemented that right by defining the scope of the liberty interest by reference to viability and providing that that is the moment when the balance of interest tips and when the state can act to prohibit a woman from getting an abortion based on its interest in protecting the fetal life at that point.
So the right specifically is abortion.
It's the right of a woman prior to viability to control whether to continue with a pregnancy, yes.
Thank you.
Do you see what he does there? And he does it so calmly and decisively. He gets her to say on the record that, yes, the right you're discussing is abortion. Why is he getting her to do that? Because there is no right to abortion. Right. It is not in the Constitution anywhere. It does not mention, imply, refer to, wink and nod at abortion, nothing. It's nowhere. And the lawyer's like, well, there's a liberty interest. What about the liberty interest for the child? The state doesn't have an interest in protecting that life? This is nonsense, and Clarence Thomas knows it. He asked the key question I wish we would have asked decades ago more often. What are we talking about? There is no constitutional right to abortion. And folks, please don't, I saw the liberal talking heads on cable news yesterday. Please do not buy into their hype. If Roe v. Wade and Casey are tossed, Abortion is not going to be illegal in the United States. I wish it were. It's not going to be illegal. It is going to be turned back over to the states, where I'm sure liberal states like California, Illinois, and New York will allow abortion, sadly, up until the post-birth, maybe. Who knows? I mean, they can do what they want. They can do what they want. But the case will not ban abortion. You will then have other states that may say, hey, we're going to do 15 weeks. Other states may say we're not doing abortion here. It will not ban abortion. They're lying. They're making that up. They are knowingly lying. Now, showing you the emptiness, the vapidness, the intellectual black hole the left lives in. Folks, they had no argument in court yesterday whatsoever. I listened to the whole thing. Their argument was stare decisis, basically saying that we should apply this law now. We should stick to the Roe v. Wade and Casey decision, keep abortion legal, because that's the way we've always done it. Stare decisis. So you screwed it up. This is a terrible, terrible ruling, Roe v. Wade. So we're going to continue to do it. And their other argument is we don't know anything. Here is the most ridiculous thing I heard yesterday during this trial from Sonia Sotomayor, showing you how empty the black hole of intellect these people live in. This is supposed to be one of the best lawyers in the country. Obama appointee Sonia Sotomayor showing how dopey she is, saying, hey, listen, some people who are dead, percentages of them will recoil if you poke them with something. Wait, what? Here, listen for yourself.
The literature is filled with episodes of people who are completely and utterly brain dead, responding to stimuli. There's about 40% of dead people who, if you touch their feet, the foot will recoil. There are spontaneous acts by dead brain people. So I don't think that a response to by a fetus necessarily proves that there's a sensation of pain or that there's consciousness.
Holy Moses. This is, I don't even know what to say to that. He's sitting here like, is this happening? So her argument as to why we should abort a known living entity, it's not a clump of cells. It is a conceived human being at an early stage of development that recoils in pain when you try to terminate his or her life in the womb, right? Your argument to continue to terminate that life is that 40% of people who are dead will show some motion if you poke them or something. Notice what she says, but 60% won't. She doesn't even like this. This is so bonkers, folks.
Jeez.
People used to think that dead people's nails grew too, because what happens? I had heard somewhere that the teeth as well, like the gums and the cuticle area starts to recede a little bit, so it appears that the nails and the teeth are growing and things like that. These are just this is ghost tales, like fairy tale stuff. Because there's some kind of muscular contraction. Does not mean that I can't believe I'm even trying to argue this stupidity. They're dead. They've been declared dead.
They're dead.
They're dead. What kind of nonsense is this? That's the best argument. Just to be clear what her argument is. She's saying that because a living infant in the womb that recoils in pain when you try to terminate its life, that we should continue to do that because people who are clinically dead may have some muscular response to a stimuli. That's the best you can do. Yeah, we know they're in trouble. Now, I'm not in the predictions game, but Jenna Ellis again was on my show yesterday and the radio show. We had a loaded guest lineup because of the complexity of the material. And Jenna said, listen, I think this is going to go 5-4-6-3. My Lord, I hope so. I use your name in reverence, not in vain. I hope so. Ladies and gentlemen, literally millions of lives are at stake. That is not a figurative statement. Millions of infants are at stake in this case. I don't know if anyone on the court is listening, but you have a chance to do the right thing, the legally appropriate thing, the ethical thing, and the moral thing, and you have the chance right in front of you to alter the course of history and save millions of lives that would have been snuffed out.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show.